Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Thanks for your support on Patreon. Disrespectfully classy, Marky Blasey. Triple H has clashed backstage over NXT at Survivor Series. AEW's top boss has fired shots at CM Punk, WWE's relationship with Saudi Arabia, and Randy Orton. And the wrestling on last night's Raw was great. The finishes, not so much. Click the timestamps below to jump to any of those stories right now. Don't worry, we've still got the short review of Raw, which is coming up right now, and I'll be replying to comments for the first 30 minutes after this video goes live. It's just that YouTube's algorithm is kicking those shorter videos' butts. So we're trying to figure out the best of both worlds. I'm Ollie Davis, and welcome to the 18th of November 2019 Raw. In about 4 minutes. Rather fittingly, a year after the angle that made her during SmackDown's invasion of Raw, Becky Lynch opened this Survivor Series Go Home episode, saying she doesn't give a bollocks about brand supremacy. Can someone please tell Vince McMahon that we don't either? So she wants to have a good old Irish fight in Boston right now. The Iconics interrupted with their accents, which brought out Charlotte Flair because she's blonde. She cut a heelish promo claiming forces want Charlotte and Becky to tag together, which is presumably WWE's new way of saying plot holes. And they made Billie Kay tap in about a minute. Then the three horsewomen of Shayna Baszler, Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir attacked the two horsewomen of Flair and Lynch, where Becky awesomely punched a security guard in the face in frustration. That's 5 out of a potential 8 horsewomen. It's happening. Caruso alert. Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins are such an enhancement act, even their backstage interviews are squash matches, where AOP beat them up so they couldn't have their tag team title main event. Humberto Carrillo beat Carl Anderson with the Street Profits' help to get a United States title match against AJ Styles next week, which would be a good story of the underdog babyface working his way through a faction, if AJ hadn't beaten him decisively 3 times in a row already. Lana revealed she's filed for divorce and has a restraining order on Rusev for 90 miles, or 90 days, or 90 feet. Nobody really knows because she forgot her lines. Bobby Lashley then beat No Way Jose with the Master Lock and snogged Lana. Weirdly, the Rusev Day chants were probably the loudest the crowd were for anything on this show, despite this storyline being cucking awful. Caruso alert. Seth Rollins says he's putting his Team Raw spot on the line against Andrade because he fights all challengers, which still doesn't really make sense. But it's okay because this match was great. That's how you make Seth cool again, in great matches that get time. The near falls got me, and the crowd were chanting burn it down, but then Lucha House Party interfered in SmackDown shirts. I was momentarily very excited, thinking they might be starting a faction with Andrade because brand split LOL. But then they attacked him too, for Seth and Andrade to unite and fight them off because they just love Raw so much. This was a very lame finish to a great TV match, and one that doesn't make any sense. As if SmackDown truly wanted to screw with Raw, they'd help Andrade win, as Seth's Survivor Series captaincy was on the line. So it's just a spot rather than anything with substance. Samoa Joe's on commentary, by the way. He's very good and much bigger than everyone else. Then Buddy Murphy revealed himself as the one who knocks, finally challenging Aleister Black, trapped in the closet, which Black missed, only making it out when Murphy had left. 7 months this storyline's been going on for. 7 months! And you miss the second person to actually answer him. Murphy then won a really exciting match against Akira Tozawa, remember him, and Black and Buddy had a stare down afterwards. That eventual encounter will be a kick-type Pokemon. Rowan beat an enhancement talent while the Singh brothers and R-Truth ran round the ring for the 24/7 title, and he's still got his weird pet carrier thing. This is such a waste of Big Red. I'm calling it now. Truth and Rowan are gonna end up as a comedy tag team. Yes, Kevin Owens versus Drew McIntyre doesn't make any sense because they're fighting alongside each other for Team Raw at Survivor Series on Sunday. Surely they should be working on working together. That said, I don't care because this match was fantastic. This was an excellent match with 2 amazing rope break near falls and a "This is awesome" chant. I don't want either man to lose. But not like that. Triple H's music hit, Raw went to an ad break and came back to an in-ring segment with Hunter and KO. Drew had Thanos'd away along with the idea there was ever actually a wrestling match going on. Triple H tried to recruit KO and it all turned into an NXT versus Raw brawl. Say it with me, folks. It's spots with no substance. Caruso alert! Here's Paul Heyman to reveal Brock Lesnar versus Rey Mysterio will be no holds barred. Interestingly, he never says it's a spoiler Brock will win. It'll either be a miracle or a massacre. That's important because every time Heyman says spoiler, Brock wins LOL, Brock has won. Rey then cut an excellent promo in response. Asuka beat Natalya. Caruso alert! Randy Orton will replace Hawkins and Ryder's tag title shot with himself and Ricochet. The tension between them is actually really intriguing. I like how they're essentially using the plot device of coexisting at Survivor Series as the first chapter in their story. But the rest of this match was just a backdrop for all the brands to brawl with big names like Lucha House Party again, Dolph Ziggler, and Heavy Machinery. NXT then got involved along with some Raw mid-carders and Rollins, but it was Kevin Dunn's motion-sick camera work that unfortunately stood tall, as I couldn't really see anything through the crash zooms and fast cuts. Hunter said NXT's doors will be wide open for anyone on Raw or SmackDown this Wednesday, which will be a difficult storyline to balance with them also building to War Games on Saturday. That was this week's Raw in about 4 minutes. Click the eye above my head to vote for what you thought of the show, where you can choose from Rawsome, Core, Average, Poor, and Rawful. And let me know your thoughts in the comments because I'll be replying to them from out of nowhere. I thought the in-ring wrestling on this show was terrific. Seth versus Andrade, Murphy versus Tozawa, and mostly Owens versus McIntyre. It's such a shame then that two were mired by really lame finishes, and the invasion storyline unfortunately has no depth, as it's really just spots and no substance. But I enjoyed the wrestling so much, this week's Raw is average. Now over to Laurie with news on Triple H's backstage clash over NXT at Survivor Series, and AEW firing some big shots at WWE.
Thanks, Ollie. Time for some news from me now. And to quickly build on that huge go-home angle from Raw, there is still some deciding to do ahead of Survivor Series, because it currently stands that Team Raw, comprised of Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, and Randy Orton, will take on Team SmackDown's Roman Reigns, Shorty G, Mustafa Ali, Braun Strowman, and King Corbin, and Team NXT, which is comprised of multi-time WWE champion Vacant. 5 times! The other teams don't stand a chance. Anyway, I'm assuming that's vacant because otherwise it sort of looks like it's kicking out time at the Torture Garden. But it's interesting because why are all those spaces vacant? Well, either Triple H is leaving them open in the hopes that Seth Rollins or Kevin Owens or someone he hasn't turned to yet on the main roster turns over to the NXT side of things, or he's waiting until after TakeOver War Games to see who is even still cleared to compete. Adam Cole? Nope, he's done his back. Velveteen Dream? No, his knees, he's gone. Johnny Gargano, he's done. Ciampa? No. Coda Reeves, you are up, sir. All that aside, there have been reports that it might be backstage creative differences holding up the decision, because WrestleVotes on Twitter posted something that they had heard from a source. They said, hearing that over the past few weeks there has been a push from creative to have Triple H as a member of Team NXT in the men's elimination match. That idea has been met with mixed reactions, including that of the Game. I'm told he does not want to be part of the match this Sunday. So you're telling me that Triple H doesn't want to put himself ahead of the development of new talent? Who said that wrestling hasn't progressed since the Attitude Era? Or earlier this year where he took on Batista with the help of Ric Flair. I mean, it doesn't mean they couldn't cram Shawn Michaels in there as trainer and captain and just call the whole thing quits. Speaking of someone who called it quits and now hasn't and has made wrestling fans have all the emotions ranging from "you sold out" to "I love you so much," is CM Punk, who will make his honest-to-goodness return to WWE branded programming tonight on Backstage on Fox. Now, ahead of the show, Punk tweeted, "It is weird trying to catch up on 5+ years of wrestling. I'm doing what I can. There's bright spots, mostly women from what I can tell. There's bad, too. I'm going to talk about it, and no one is safe. Join us." Nick and Cultaholics gimmick there. And he then tagged Renee Young, WWE on Fox, Booker T, Paige here, Vince McMahon, and AEW president and CEO Tony Khan, which basically worked the same way as tossing a pipe bomb over the garden fence. It was met with retaliation, because Khan fired back with, "No one is safe." Sounds like a plane full of wrestlers in Saudi Arabia. A sick burn made up by that vindictive liar Dave Meltzer. Now, this naturally garnered some online heat, and few were more venomous than the Viper Randy Orton, who spat back a link to an article on Jacksonville.com about Tony's father, Shahid Khan, being investigated for corruption back in 2018, saying, "What's that whole thing about glass houses and stones?" Now, unperturbed by the shatterable nature of his domicile, Khan retorted once more with, "I thought you only tagged me in your posts when you were grasping for leverage. The article is over a year old and is about baseless claims made about my dad years ago. That's the best you can do? Nothing. Meanwhile, in the time since that was written, you used the N-word on Twitch. Now, Randy, he waited a little while, and then he came back with, Jacksonville, Dixie, why else would I tag you? If I wanted to talk business, I'd call your father, which, despite not even addressing the last part of Tony's point, also falls down because didn't he just call Tony's father corrupt? So do you want to do a deal or not, Randy? Stick to a story, man. Now, while this chaos just span out of his initial tweet, Punk instead then just hopped onto a Q&A with Wale asking how often people called him Whale and if he was going to watch WWE on Fox. Now, Wale, apparently drunk on tequila on a flight, so take what he says with a pinch of sauce and a little slice of lemon because tequila is my lady, said yes, only because Renee Young is the curator we all need. My question is, are you going to enter the Royal Rumble? I bet you won't answer. Don't worry, wrestling Twitter doesn't come here. Except we do, because this is how we found this story. Punk then clarified his position again, saying, nope, I'll talk about it though, I work for Fox. But what if, right, bear with me, Team Fox get in on Survivor Series and it was like Punk, Renee, Ryan Satin, vacant, an unstoppable team. I'm a genius. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up because it really helps us out. And if you want to stay up to date on all of your wrestling news and your reviews, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon too to get notified so you never miss a WrestleTalk episode. Thanks also to all of the names scrolling away beneath me for being our awesome pledgehammers on Patreon. Big love to ya. I've been El Fakador, and that was Lucha.